Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Lunchtime Live, where we're going to chat about big data, data science, analytics, and everything related to cloud computing and data. Today, we're chatting with Matthew Morris, who's an enterprise sales executive at Confluent, and he has a long background in data and tech companies, including MapR, SAP, Dell, Microsoft, and I can't wait to dig in to what you know. Matthew, thank you so much for joining us on this live today.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's great to be here on a Friday afternoon.
I know it is Friday, right?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Hashtag follow Friday. So quick question, with your long experience in this industry, because you've been doing data and computing for a while, what are you really excited about that's happening right now in the industry as a big picture?
Yeah, well, when I graduated from Michigan State, I went out to California, and I actually lived in San Francisco for 10 years. And coming back and being in Grand Rapids for a while back home, the innovation that I'm seeing happen here reminds me a little bit of that kind of .com boom era. And even now, when I go back out, because the company I work for is headquartered out there, of what we have happening here in Grand Rapids. And I think a lot of that has to do with what we're going to talk about today with Big Data Ignite, but really the innovation behind the industry right now is around data and this digital economy. And so it's kind of exciting because there's a change from how businesses, from public sector to universities, are looking at technology and looking at how they can do things in real time. And that's kind of really the theme of the conference coming up is, the evolving data ecosystem and adapting and changing and thriving. So I see a lot of innovation. It's around data. And so Big Data Ignite's, a really good platform for what we're seeing is the basis of innovation and technology today.
Well, and I think staying up to date on things is so important because, I mean, would you say 10, 15, 20 years ago that anybody really would have been able to predict or anticipate where we're at today with data and how much it's just exploded?
Yeah, I think the Moore's law of exponential growth was everything doubles and I'm going to get this wrong, maybe every 10 years. I think everything is doubling every 10 weeks now. So it's exploding for sure. When I was back living in the Bay Area in the .com boom era, that was really kind of the start of it. And so witnessing it at its, when it really got started to where we are today, even now, we're a lot more advanced than we were even 20 years ago.
Yeah. I remember back in 2000 being so excited about being able to buy like a 250 gig hard drive for only $50, right? But
I know.
Data storage has improved, data analytics has improved, our ways of being able to store data, with cloud computing, obviously, you don't need that 250 gig hard drive in your house anymore.
No.
So tell me, and I think Confluent focuses on cloud computing, right? So tell me a little bit more about what Confluent does and what they're doing in that area.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Confluent is the Gartner leading or Magic Quadrant leading software company in the cloud for real-time applications. So it's kind of a next generation data and storage platform, and it's all based around this event streaming paradigm. And so we're really an event streaming company. And it was created actually at LinkedIn. Our founders worked at LinkedIn, and they came up with this new way to look at data, historical and data that's happening now together in this messaging platform. And so they built that out, and it had a lot to do with the transformation of LinkedIn from where it was in the early 2000s to advancing and being attractive enough to be snatched up by Microsoft. Before that happened, though, our three founders came over with the blessing from the executives at LinkedIn that started Confluent in 2014. We just had our 5-year birthday in September.
Congratulations.
And I guess the simplest way for me to explain, how does our technology work in the cloud is when you hail, I'm just going to pull this up for you. When you hail, you can see all the cars on there. This is Link, and Uber is also a customer. But when you're on your Link app and you hail a car, what's happening on the platform, on the Confluent platform, is this historical data is saying, well, where's that car been? Do they have a fare right now? Are they en route to drop someone off, or are they free? But not only that, maybe the driver that's free is 20 miles away and it's going to take 20 minutes to get to me, whereas the driver actually has a fare, is going to drop that fare off and be able to get back to me before the driver that's 20 minutes away. They'd be able to get to me in 10 minutes. So this real-time interaction is running on the Confluent platform, and it does a couple things. It allows Lyft not only to provide the best service to me as a user of that service by getting me the car in the fastest time frame, but it also helps them with their inventory of drivers to say, if I'm a driver that has to drive 20 miles, even though I'm free, to go pick up a customer, I'm going to burn more miles. I'm going to put more wear and tear on my car, as opposed to the one who has a fare that's only going to be 5 minutes away when they drop off that fare in 5 minutes. So it's not only providing a better experience for me as the customer, but it's also helping manage their business, their inventory, and their drivers, and providing a better place and more attractive workplace for the drivers to come to, as opposed maybe to Uber, which is very similar in what they do. But that's one example. And we have them all across industry. Maybe a little bit more traditional one would be Walmart, that is really using us as their platform for digital supply chain. And when you think of price matching in the store, when you go into your Walmart store, you have your app and you scan something, it'll match pricing against other retailers in the region or online retailers. And if you go to the register in real time, it figures out, oh, you know what? You actually could have bought that on Amazon for $5 less. Here's a coupon for $5. So those are the type of things that our data platform is used for. And there's a lot more examples. And again, Walmart's running us on AWS, Lyft is running us on Google Cloud, and then lots of customers are running us on Microsoft Azure Cloud as well.
Well, I love those use cases because I think that helps people really see what's possible with the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times cloud computing, particularly for those outside of data science, right? It can seem really buzzword, right? Rather than the substantive thing that it is. Yeah. And I think that that's so critically important to understand that it's affecting all of these different areas that are far outside just IT. It's not just affecting your data science department. It's affecting marketing, and it's affecting sales, and it's affecting distribution and product development, and all of those other things. Cloud computing now kind of has its fingers in, and like with that comes a whole new set of challenges that we haven't had before either. It solves a lot of problems, but it can open up some new challenges. So what are some of the biggest things happening in cloud computing right now that are some of the biggest challenges that have to be overcome?
Well, it's definitely a fast-paced industry. One of the measurements to quantify this is kind of based on a book that came out by Jeffrey Moore called Crossing the Chasm. I remember that. And they came up with a maturity model for technology adoption. And so there's 5 stages in the maturity model. There's the innovators, the early adopters, the early late majority, which would be 70% of the adopters, and then the laggards. So for the cloud industry in general, I think up until maybe 2015, 2016, we had innovators. So companies that were going to the cloud, very small percentage, maybe less than 5% were going to the cloud. And there was a lot of challenges on why that wasn't happening, both from the cloud providers side, the Google, Microsoft, and AWS side, as well as the business side. And I'll talk about that in just a minute, but I kind of want to take a look at in this maturity model and use that as an example of the challenges and where we are now, and what the trend is to kind of increase both the benefit of the cloud for not only businesses that want to go to the cloud and why would they want to go to the cloud, but also for the cloud companies to gain more customers and market share. And so when we look at that from a maturity model standpoint, it might make a little more sense, because when you go into the early adopters, here you're starting to go up the curve. You're getting a larger percentage of the companies adopting cloud. And then the largest percentage of those customers are going to be what they call the early or late majority. So we're kind of in the early adopter stage still. I mean, a lot of companies, a lot of businesses are in the cloud right now, but they're still in the cloud in, I would say less than 10% of their companies' applications are running in the cloud. There's some statistic laying around from Forrester or Gartner around that. So as you can see, it's the promise is there, and it's just not quite being leveraged yet. And so the biggest challenges we see being in this business is, for enterprises to take advantage of that, they have to be able to be compliant in the cloud. So the government regulations play a large role on how customers businesses across industries can actually get in the cloud. We're seeing that. Another thing is the internal resources. The pool is usually pretty thin inside of most enterprise accounts. Now, some global accounts still have large enough staffs to support it, but by and large, when you're an early adopter, you're going to have that. When you want to get into the early majority, you're not going to have that. And then another thing is a lot of these businesses are still strapped in what the term in the industry is called technical debt. Technical debt really means all this investment you have in legacy systems. Yeah. And the systems that have been running your businesses for 20 plus years, some companies, quite a few actually, still are running mainframe technologies and databases and infrastructure. So they just are still relying on those systems, and they're very hard to move off of. Yeah. So that's another thing that's a challenge. And then applications that are mission critical for running businesses can't go down, and they have to be secure. And so if we look at where the cloud providers have solved some of these challenges, they're getting pretty good at being compliant. They're getting much better at the real-time delivery because they're investing billions literally to open more data centers in more regions, not only in North America, but across the world. That does a couple things. It reduces latency between regions when you have global companies running in cloud regions or availability zones across the globe. That's very important. And so the competitiveness between the three cloud providers, and actually I would include IBM and some of the larger technology companies, and with Microsoft, Amazon, and Google, is they're investing more. They are certainly leveraging better technology to run their data centers, but still it is a challenge to say you're going to have 100% uptime or 6 nines, 7 nines of availability, which essentially means that we guarantee from an SLA that your business won't go down for less than 10 minutes a year. It's a pretty big promise. When a business goes to the cloud, they want to go to a cloud provider to do a few things. They want to be able to leverage a company that can get them out of the infrastructure business, get them out of the technology business, and focus on their core competencies, whatever that is, whether it's, manufacturing and selling office furniture or healthcare services or insurance. Yeah. They want to focus on that. They want to decrease the reliance on internal resources and the funding of infrastructure, hardware, and resources to be in the IT business. And so the promise of the cloud is certainly there. And to be honest, the promise of the cloud is to be more reliable than you would be within your own four walls. But one of the things that's happening, and we start to see this from a trending standpoint, is businesses want to be able to start to move more of their mission critical applications, whether it's ERP systems, whether it's retail systems, healthcare information or EMR systems, into the cloud. But when they do that, it's not as easy as just copying a file and dragging it over to your cloud provider.
Right.
It's pretty complex. And so that complexity is compounded by the fact that when you go to a cloud provider, there's a lot of services that these cloud providers offer. Now, just within the realm of data analytics and machine learning and artificial intelligence, AWS has over 146 different services.
Wow.
So you need some expertise just to, to get through that. And the cloud providers have a lot of resources, but they can't really scale to support businesses when you come to moving these monolithic applications to the cloud. So what we're starting to see more and more is a new class of company, and you probably have heard this term called SaaS, or software as a service. These class of companies provide areas of expertise around applications that run in the cloud that, the cloud providers may provide a search service, for example, but usually that service is going to be pretty basic and meant to run within their own cloud environment. So if you look at the enterprises of today, they are running applications, or they have vendors that are running applications in more than one cloud. So sometimes it makes it a little more difficult if you want to do a search service in an application that has to run across more than one cloud, or even within the same cloud provider. That's really not their area of expertise as a search service. So you have companies that specialize, software as a service companies, in search. And one of those, for example, is Elastic. And that's their business. They focus on it. They're the best at it. They're the market leader in it. And so Elastic and Confluent, I put us in that class as well for event streaming. What we're doing is we're saying, look, we're going to offer a fully managed service for the business to get into cloud. So you don't have to worry about supporting that application with us. You don't have to worry about the infrastructure. And we're going to provide the resources to support you in that fully managed service. So you don't have to worry about the cloud at all. You don't have to worry what cloud you want to run on. We'll take care of that.
Nice.
So it helps the cloud providers because they can't specialize in the applications, all 146 of those applications. They can't specialize in them. So more and more you see them working with companies, partnering with companies like Confluent, Elastic, and others, and even the ERP vendors. You can get your SAP and your Oracle applications, your Infor applications running in the cloud now. And so they're also providing this fully managed service. And that's really, I think, going to be the differentiator for crossing the chasm into the majority adoption. And that's going to accelerate over the next 5 years. So, and we hear revenue numbers of cloud providers right now are big. Yeah. I think they're going to be 5x that within the next 5 years because of this shift into having fully managed services by cloud software companies running on all cloud providers, because it's a benefit for the suppliers as well as businesses. So that's the trend we're seeing. That's the business that a lot of companies that are coming to Big Data Ignite are in, and are going to talk about how businesses can be strategic, get to the cloud faster, and start taking advantage of all the benefits of not only what the cloud offers from a cost and infrastructure standpoint, but adopting applications that are going to be game-changing for their business.
That's awesome. So in addition to working at Confluent, which is a sponsor of Big Data Ignite, you also are on the sponsorship committee for Big Data Ignite and involved as well.
I am.
With that.
Yeah, back here.
So, yeah. What are the reasons that you got involved with BDI on a personal level? Why do you think it's an exciting thing that people should be paying attention to?
Yeah, so I'm eating my own dog food here, drinking my own Kool-Aid, whatever you want to say. I first came into Big Data Ignite as a sponsor. So the company I was with at the time was in the data space. We decided to take a chance and sponsor, and the value we got out of it was tremendous. And being from West Michigan and Grand Rapids, looking at the mission of Big Data Ignite as a nonprofit, Not only do I believe in what it's offering the community, I have firsthand experience of the benefits, not only from a vendor supplier, but from the outreach that the organization does into the community around education and supporting scholarships into the colleges and universities for areas that are in high demand right now. Data science, cloud technologies, ML and AI, advanced analytics. All the colleges and universities have programs now, and Big Data Ignite supports those universities, and also supports students within those universities financially as well as with content. And then also what Big Data Ignite is doing is it's making West Michigan a technology data hub. It's attracting businesses. It's helping attract businesses to the community. It's helping from an effort of outreach, because what Big Data Ignite has not only is this annual conference, but they also run, and I think the number's 5, maybe up to 10 right now, meetups on a monthly, quarterly basis in all areas of data and technology. They have a data science meetup. They have a cloud computing meetup. They have an IoT meetup. So more and more offering the community time to get together, shared learnings, and advance. And, the last thing West Michigan, Grand Rapids wants to be seen as is a laggard in the technology curve, right? We want to be able to retain and attract talent to the area, and also keep the talent and businesses here. And I think Big Data Ignite is aligned with organizations like The Right Place and others to that mission. And it's an exciting organization. And this is my 4th year being involved. I think it's the 6th year of the conference and the organization. So it's getting bigger, and we're seeing the benefits of it.
That's fantastic. And I think that's one of the things that is important, is that it does bring together all of those different pieces. You have people like Confluent that are sponsoring, and also Grand Valley State University, and also The Right Place, which is a business development economic center. So I think getting those conversations going is great. So thank you for having this conversation with me.
Absolutely.
I'll look forward to seeing you at the conference, and hopefully to a lot of you out there watching, we'll see you there as well. So
it's only a month away. So if you haven't registered or got your sponsorship dollars in, hurry up and do that, because space is limited. It's pretty much full, but let us know.
Yep, absolutely. There's still some room, both in the sponsors, a couple rooms for contributed talks. So just if you have any questions, you can email info@bigdataignite.org, or go check out our website, bigdataignite.org, and you'll see all of the information about speakers and sessions and sponsorship and all of the things. So thank you so much, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, sounds good. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Thank you.